At 69, Dwight Yoakam finally tells the truth about Buck Owens. Dwight Yoakam was born Dwight David Yoakam on October 23, 1956 in Pikeville, Kentucky, and grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Yoakam loved listening to classic country music stars like Buck Owens, Merle Haggard, and Hank Williams when he was young. From the time he was little, he loved the sound of Bakersfield country music, a style that had twangy electric guitars, real honest emotions, and a bold sense of being different. This early love for country music would later become the heart of Yoakam's special sound, a sound that connected old-time country music with newer styles, making sure that true country music kept going strong in a world where music was changing fast. In the early 1980s, after having trouble getting noticed in Nashville, where his too old-fashioned style didn't match the smooth pop country music that was popular back then, Yoakam made a big move to Los Angeles. There he found an unexpected home with punk and rock musicians who liked his realness and rebel attitude, playing in clubs next to bands like Los Lobos and X. Yoakam created a sound that people loved way beyond just country music fans. His 1986 first album, Guitars, Cadillacs, etc., became a really important recording, getting great reviews and making him famous right away. Songs like A Honky Tonk Man, Guitars, Cadillacs, and It Won't Hurt showed off his one-of-a-kind voice, a nasal, soulful twang that seemed to sound like the legends of country's best days while sounding totally fresh and current. Yoakam's career quickly took off, and he became one of the most popular country artists of the late 1980s and 1990s, albums like Hillbilly Deluxe from 1987, Boone's Notches from A Lonely Room from 1988, and This Time from 1993 made his reputation stronger as both an old-school country lover and someone breaking new ground. His music often talked about themes of heartbreak, loneliness, and missing someone. You've performed them with a cool confidence and style that was all his own, often wearing his famous tight jeans, cowboy boots, and low-hanging hat, but behind his look was a real artist. Yoakam wrote and helped write many of his hit songs, paying careful attention to every detail of the tune and the story being told. Songs like 1,000 Miles from Nowhere, Fast as You, and Ain't That Lonely Yet are still loved today, touching generations of listeners who find comfort and honesty in his music's truthfulness. Besides his success in music, Dwight Yoakam also showed himself as a really talented actor, bringing the same passion and realness to movies that he did to the stage. His first movie role in Sling Blade in 1996, where he played the scary and realistic character Doyle Hargraves, got praise from critics and audiences. He followed that performance with memorable roles in Panic Room, Crank, Logan Lucky, and The Newton Boys. Showing a variety that few expected from a country singer, Yoakam's acting career added another side to who he was as an artist. He wasn't just a performer, but a storyteller in every way, able to show deep feelings, whether through song or acting, throughout his long and awarded career. Yoakam has won multiple Grammy Awards, #1 singles, and lots of respect from other musicians and fans, but despite all the awards, he has always stayed humble in his love for music and his respect for where it came from. He has often said that artists like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard shaped his musical ideas, and his work together with Owens, especially the rare hit Streets of Bakersfield, showed how one generation passed things down to the next. Yoakam's ability to bring back Andrew image in the Bakersfield sound not only brought new life to Owens's legacy, but also introduced new listeners to the pure, honest essence of country music. As a live performer, Dwight Yoakam's energy is legendary. His concerts mix exciting musicianship with sincere emotion, creating a feeling that seems both nostalgic and alive. Whether performing in small venues or in front of thousands at big festivals, he commands the stage with charm and conviction, his voice carrying the weight of experience and the joy of creating music for many fans. A Yoakam performance is more than just a concert. It's a journey through the ups and downs of life told by an artist who has lived every word he sings. In 1992, Dwight Yoakam, one of the most unique and praised figures in country music, started a high-profile relationship with actress Sharon Stone, one of Hollywood's most glamorous and talked about stars at the time. Their romance quickly became a hot topic for both entertainment reporters and fans, mostly because the pairing of the honky-tonk singer from Kentucky with the elegant Oscar-nominated actress seemed so unlikely and interesting. Yoakam and Stone went together to the Academy Awards ceremony that year, getting everyone's attention on the red carpet. The chemistry got a lot of media attention, with photographers taking pictures of every look and every shared smile. Tabloids excitedly wrote about their brief relationship, making up stories about how the country star and the glamorous movie star were connecting the worlds of Nashville and Hollywood. Rumors soon started spreading that Yoakam's latter album, this time one of his most thoughtful and musically rich works, had songs inspired by Stone or feelings around their brief romance. Yoakam, however, strongly denied the claims, explaining that while he liked Stone and valued their time together, their relationship had lasted only about 5 weeks and didn't influence his songwriting in the way the press said it did. Still, the gossip added to his mystery, making him seem like both a tough cowboy singer and a romantic mystery, caught between fame and being real. In 1994, 2 years after his relationship with Stone ended, Yoakam met personality Karen Duffy at a fun Hollywood party. Duffy, known for her sharp humor, intelligence, and on-screen charm, quickly connected with Yoakam's unusual sense of humor and creative spirit. The two started dating soon after, and their relationship became another source of interest for fans and the media. Unlike his brief romance with Stone, Yoakam's relationship with Duffy lasted longer, about 2 years, and seemed to show a deeper connection. Both were really involved in their own artistic careers and shared a curiosity about how film, music, and pop culture mixed together. They were often seen going to events together, with Yoakam's classic cowboy style standing out yet matching well with Duffy's sophistication. However, by 1996, the relationship ended, although neither talked publicly about why they broke up. Reports said that their busy work schedules and different career paths played a role. Even after they separated, both showed mutual respect for each other, and fans often remember that time as one of the more stable and happy times in Yoakam's public life. Many years later, after decades focused on his music and acting career, Yoakam found lasting love with Emily Joyce, a professional photographer and longtime partner who had been by his side for over 10 years before their marriage. The couple got married on May 4, 2020, in a quiet, intimate ceremony held in Santa Monica, California. Their wedding happened during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic when gatherings were strictly limited, so only 10 close guests were there, following social distancing rules. Despite the small size, the event was filled with warmth, sincerity, and deep love, showing the steady and mature relationship the two shared. For Yoakam, who had spent much of his adult life in the public eye, the simple nature of the ceremony was a refreshing return to privacy and simplicity. Later that same year, on August 16, 2020, Dwight and Emily welcomed their first child, a joyful moment for the couple and a new chapter in the life of legendary performer, becoming a father in his 60s. Yoakam said he felt incredibly grateful for the experience, often calling it one of the most meaningful events of his life. Their son brought new inspiration and peace to Yoakam, grounding him after decades of constant touring, recording, and performing. The quiet home happiness he found with Emily Joyce was a sweet contrast to his earlier, more public romances, and ending worthy of a man whose life had been filled with passion, artistry, and their less search for connection. For years, country fans have wondered about the real story behind Dwight Yoakam's complicated relationship with Buck Owens, the legendary figure who helped create the Bakersfield sound. Their friendship, one that mixed mentorship, rivalry, admiration, and occasional tension, has long interested country music historians. Now, at age 69, Yoakam is finally opening up about his experiences with Owens in a way that feels both raw and thoughtful. "Buck changed my life," Yoakam said in a recent interview, "but it wasn't always easy being close to him. Buck could be as tough as they come, and he didn't give out respect easily. You had to earn it." Yoakam first met Owens in the early 1980s at a time when country music was moving away from its honky-tonk roots and heading toward a more polished Nashville-controlled sound. Dwight, a Kentucky native who had moved to Los Angeles, was making a name for himself as a rebel, a traditionalist with a rock and roll edge. When he started recording songs that sounded like the raw, twangy energy of Owens and Don Rich's 1960s hits, people noticed. Owens at first wasn't sure what to think of the newcomer wearing tight jeans and singeing about heartbreak in the California hills. "I think Buck thought I was just another kid trying to copy him," Yoakam remembered. He didn't realize at first that what I was doing came from a place of deep love and respect for what had built. Eventually, that respect turned into a working relationship that will shape a generation of country revivalists. In 1988, Yoakam invited Owens to record Streets of Bakersfield with him, a song that Buck had originally put out years earlier but that had gone mostly unnoticed. The collaboration was a turning point for both men. The duo shot up to #1 on the Billboard country chart, giving Owens his first #1 hit in over 15 years and making Yoakam known as someone carrying on Bakersfield's proud tradition. That song brought Buck back into the spotlight, Dwight said. It reminded people who he was, and it reminded him too. I think in some ways he needed that song as much as he did. Despite the success, Yoakam admits that their relationship wasn't always smooth. Buck was a complicated man. He explained, he was funny, charming, and brilliant. But he could also be stubborn and guarded. There were times when we butted heads. He had a hard time trusting people because of what he'd been through in the music business. Owens had experienced both success and betrayal, from losing Donrick, his closest collaborator, to going through years of feeling forgotten by Nashville. Yoakam, for his part, often struggled to balance his admiration for Owens with the older man's proud and sometimes distant personality. There were moments when I didn't know where I stood with him, Yoakam said quietly. One day he'd call me his friend, and the next they'd pull away. I think that's just how he protected himself. Over the years, Yoakam says he came to understand that behind Owens's tough exterior was a man who had carried deep pain. After Donrick died, Buck was never the same, he thought back. That loss haunted him. I think he poured everything he had left into his music, and when the spotlight faded, he didn't know what to do with all that hurt. When we worked together, I could see flashes of the old Buck, the sparkle, the fire, but I could also see the loneliness. Their bond grew stronger in the late 1990s when Yoakam performed frequently at Buck Owens's Crystal Palace in Bakersfield. Those shows became legendary, not only for the music but for the sense of a story in the air. Playing at the Crystal Palace with Buck watching from the wings, that was something special, Dwight remembered. Sometimes he'd jump up on stage and we'd sing together. Other nights he'd just sit back with that grin of his, proud and amused. He liked to pretend he wasn't sentimental, but you could tell it meant something to him. When Owens passed away in 2006, Yoakam took the loss hard. I didn't just lose a musical hero, he said. I lost a friend, a mentor, and a piece of my own story. In the years since, Yoakam has continued to honor Owens's legacy, performing his songs, keeping the Bakersfield spirit alive, and speaking more openly about their complicated friendship. I think I understand him better now than he did back then. He thought back, Buck taught me that music isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. It is about telling the truth even when it hurts. That's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Today, as Dwight Yoakam looks back on his 6-decade career, he does so with gratitude for the man who inspired him to stay true to his sound. Buck Owens showed me that it's okay to stand apart, he said. He proved that you don't have to be Nashville to be country, you just have to be real. With those words, Yoakam finally shared the truth about the man who shaped not just his music but his soul, a truth full of respect, complexity, and lasting love for one of country's most iconic legends.